Good evening, good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Another session of Men's Conference. It's been a while. We've been away for a little bit, but we're back. We're here. And this is Men's Conference on Umoya. Welcome. Like usual, if this is your first time, please let us know where you are watching from. So we give you Ikaslako, your town, your city, your country a shout out. Then we know where you're watching us from. Like every other Monday, we start off in the same way and we go within to be able to bring out the best in us. And in order for us to do that, we gently close our eyes and we take a little journey. So please join me in that little journey. Just close your eyes and take a deep breath in and breathe out and become conscious of your breath. Now I want you to start by letting go of the thoughts that occupy your mind, the deep thoughts that you've thought all day, the worries, the outstanding balances, the troubles, everything that's going on in your mind that you've gone through throughout the day, over the weekend. Allow that to leave you, release it. Allow that to leave your mind. When you release that, start to feel your body relaxing. And as you're watching, I advise you and I urge you to close your eyes and actually allow your mind a bit of rest. In this moment, I want you to feel your body taking the rest and feel this tranquility and this peace come over you. And right there where you are, allow yourself to feel, allow yourself to breathe, and allow yourself to experience. I want you to go to a peaceful place where your mind knows, where your spirit glows, and your inner being knows without a doubt how powerful you are. I want you to feel that heat within you radiate inside out. And I want you to know that it's going to be okay. And I want you to feel it from the soles of your feet to the top of your head. I want you to understand that it is only a process. And the process is here for your own goodness and your own growth. I want you to go deep in that fire and allow it to ignite purpose and passion. That whatever it is that sets your soul on fire, that it may meet with your passion, and that the two may merge, come together, and work for your greatest good. When you are ready, and when your spirit feels at ease, you may most definitely open your eyes and join us again. Good evening, good evening. Challenging evening for myself. My brother just gave me a ring, and we've lost someone. But the show must go on, and um, we must proceed. Um, Tonight, I'd love us to be able to go into a space as a majita where we express. Tonight is about expressing. It's not about me. And if there's a lady watching tonight, I ask that you just learn something. You know, um, if there is anything that you need, let tonight be about that, you know. Allow yourself to be able to express yourself. Someone out there might just need to learn from you. So, thank you so much. I will take the I will take time to grieve. Thank you. Um, but tonight I want the guys to express some of the things that have put them off abo sisibetu, and that they struggle with in secret that our sisters don't know about. And the first thing that I'd like to put through, the first thing that I'd like to put through is economics, money. It is the biggest thing that keeps a man awake at night when you're sleeping. Some of us have pretended for many moons to be asleep when we are sitting and worrying where the next 10,000 will come from, or the next 100,000 will come from. We sit and we wonder on this, and sometimes your 10,000 or your 100,000 is sitting in someone's pocket and they haven't moved it to yours. And it frustrates you because our lives need every cent we can get as a bantu abamnyama. So that's the first barrier that we face as a madot. Economics. How much do you guys agree? Does it affect you guys as much? Welcome to the guys that are here. Emmanuel, Gama, Nkume. Hey, blessings, King, blessings. Nkume, come through if you wish, Mami. If you can just post up the link for our brothers to join us. Today I'm taking the brothers mainly, and I'll only take a sister if she wants to find out a little bit more. Guti, what is it that could actually be bothering her husband or her boyfriend or her brother, a dad and uncle, whoever, you know. Um, and then I will take you. But one of the biggest things that put me into depression was money. It sounds stupid, it sounds lame, I know. But one of the biggest thing that depressed me was the inability at the time for me to be able to provide for myself and for my daughter. That pushed me so far that I got to a stage where I thought the easiest way to relieve umdeni, to be able to relieve my partner, to relieve those that I loved, was to be gone from this planet. And now I thank God but it never came to pass. You know, as far as I got, I landed up in ICU, but excuse me. I thank God good I didn't carry it through fully, because in my pursuit of removing myself, I found myself, and I found myself broken. I found myself in pain. I found myself in tears, and I found myself all alone in that space, because what I had done is I'd isolated myself so much that it was much easier. Ubangeto. If you are that guy tonight, my advice to you is ask for help. Not asking for help, not asking for help is a level of arrogance from your part. Ask for help. So I'm gonna ask anybody who has a question tonight. Perhaps your brother is going through a hard time. Perhaps your father. Perhaps your son. Maybe ndote yako. Would you like to feel what depression feels like for a second? In the comments, maybe yes. Or have you felt what depression feels like? Yes, no, maybe. Let's look in the comments. Um, Perhaps you're going through depression. There's the link, StreamYard, if you'd like to share with us. Or Perhaps you're not sure that you're going through a depression, and you'd like to find out if you are. I invite you on that link. Join on that link. Find out. The first step to recover and to heal and to do better and to be better and to get better is to know what you're facing. I think the hardest time for me um, was the acceptance. Ukuthi I'm going through a depression and a hard time. For me, as I said and explained, we'll get through everything that actually usually causes umjita to be able to get into that dark space. But firstly, the economics, imali, was one of the first things that pushed me into a depression. Because with imali came the inability to be able to provide for myself, my daughter, to be able, not being able to provide for things. So in my relationships, I was inadequate. I was unable to provide utando because in my mindset, I needed to give, 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 give. And that's how I would get to a state of belonging and keeping my worth. And a lot of men are feeling this. And the more that I speak to men and the more that men come to sessions and that we speak and counsel and coach men, I am seeing that a lot of men are feeling good, they are not enough because of economics, because of imali. And more men are getting closer to the edge because of this economy and this inability to be able to provide. Women aren't cheap. Umjolo isn't cheap. And that's one of the factors that actually affect us. Secondly, a lot of men struggle with the fact that I cannot provide for my family, meaning umama wami, the mother that birthed me, raised me, and struggled with me, my siblings, and my immediate family. And that kills a man because we come from the three P's. Fundamentally, we're in us, there's a seed to provide, to protect, and to profess. And if you are unable to do these three, what do we call you? Because these three encompass the structure of a man. If you are watching and you're struggling in those relationships, you're struggling in those fields, you're struggling internally, hit that StreamYard link and do join. Gume, blessings. Welcome.
Hola, hola. How are you? Good day. Are you fine?
Blessings, blessings. I'm good, my king. I'm good. And yourself?
I'm good, man. I like the topic. It's a very very good topic in the sense. It's very difficult to be a man, and I normally say these things already. Monna ke tonki. But sometimes it becomes very difficult when you're a man to cope because
Yes.
all of this pressure that is expected uh, 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 from you. You are expected to provide, you are expected to protect, you are expected to be healthy all the time, you are expected to cope. And sometimes it's not possible. It's not possible, my brother, because um, we're human. Sometimes we get to become weak. Sometimes we get to our own corners and cry. You know, sometimes we also need to be advised. It's never easy, this thing. And the rate that men are getting depressed is very alarming. Men are killing themselves now just to get rid of, and they think by doing that they are solving the problem. And it just creates another social illness that, imagine if you leave your children, and you unfortunately commit suicide, and it then becomes a problem because then somebody else must take that responsibility. But at that point in time, you're thinking that probably that's the best solution for yourself. It's quite worrisome, my brother, and I'm very happy that you're actually discussing this today. It's very touching. Men need help. We need help, and we must actually tell people that men need help.
310%, I agree with you. I'm yet to meet a man who says, I do not need help. I am yet to meet a man who says, I do not need help. And every single man that I speak to is in dire need of help. But as a Wandile, as a Nkume, you do not have the opportunity nor the leeway to be able to take a breath and say, Mtuse, too many lives depend on yours. Too many breaths depend on yours. And there is no time for you to rest. We are in recovery mode as black men. So we are patching up the holes that were left by our fathers and our grandfathers and their fathers. So we are still playing catch up. And it is this catch up that is drowning a lot of men and putting us in the hole. And that is why when a black man first makes it, it is material that he seeks instead of generational wealth. It is material because in nature, as a human, there's, Maslow speaks of the six needs of a human being. And in the six needs, one of them is significance. I actually want to look back and actually select the top four as I would put them. I would put I would put as a black man significance as one. I would put connection and love as two. Then I would put certainty and uncertainty as three and four. And I will go
Hmm.
into them. Significance is that BMW M4, M5, X6, whatever that is that catches your eye. It's at C63. Is that when you arrive, we know you've arrived. So it's no longer a mode of transport, it's a status symbol to plug the holes that were left by your forefathers. So the significance that you are feeling is significant because there's a hole that they could not plug. And the significance is something they stole by not leaving you a legacy that you could fulfill. So in your spirit, there's a void at birth. And we as men work all our lives to fill that void. And as black men, we're struggling because it's two or three generations of voids that we're filling. And the heightened risk of depression and suicide is due to that in our societies. Secondly, thank you, Bongani, for joining us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, Putabo says, um, you know, I did, but I thought it was just stress until I broke down during a gym session. Oh, Putabo, I'd be honored to have him. Putbongani, welcome. It is an honor to have you.
One day I have a question when it comes to
Yeah.
significance.
Yes.
And I normally ask men this thing to say, are you a hero to your child? Are you a hero to your child?
Personally, I think I am. Personally, I believe I am, and she treats me as one, and she speaks to me as one, and it's the manner in which she presents me, and it's the pride I see in her eyes when she says, "This is my dad." You know, um, I've watched her many times playing Majita Monday for her friends and saying, "That's my dad." And I've watched her many times playing my interviews with Nziki and going, "That's dad." But many a times I've also heard her telling her friends of her school fees being paid and her gloating that she got new school shoes in the middle of the year. These are small, insignificant responsibilities I have as a father, but these seem major to her. I've also often heard her talking about, we have a date with my dad. We go on dates, and I take her and we'll go to a restaurant and we'll sit and we'll have something to eat. And the last time that we did, she was telling me about a C-section. And I was like, how do you know about a C-section? And she was explaining how it's done in LO at school, life orientation. So the hero element for my daughter is not that other superficial heroism. It's the this man gives so much of himself and I have him all to myself. So I think we're heroes, Ngume. I think we really are heroes. We're just unsung.
The narration that you just gave now, it gives the significant picture, and that is important to any man. That the best thing that you can ever be is become a hero to your kids. And I think if we would learn that, any other thing should be secondary, whether it be materialistic or whether it be achievements. It should be secondary because it's important how your kids perceive you. It's very important because that also will assist you every day when you wake up to say, but I'm a hero to my kids. They are not disappointed. And the amount of pressure that our kids put us through, it's not that deep, it's not that heavy. It's only that when we compare ourselves with other people or our peers that then we start getting depressed or any other thing. But if we would then concentrate on being our heroes, or being heroes to our kids, I think it would be some form of relief to us to say, but how do I make my kids happy? This is what I need to do, you know. Yes,
Mm.
obviously there will be external pressures in terms of the demands. Kids want the PS5s, kids want this and that. But I
Yeah.
I, I, I think if we find ways of maneuvering that external pressure, we would stand a good chance to fight this depression. Because I think the most thing to us that we need to protect ourselves from, or we need to protect our kids from seeing us depressed. How do we do it? Do we just say we become heroes? Every day we wake up, we motivate them, we work for them. And how then do we say we are able to navigate through the external pressures outside from home? Because I think 80% of those external pressures are the ones that are causing a lot of depression to us. I don't know, but that's what I think.
Mm. Um, yeah, I don't think a lot of fathers have noticed that kids like them better. Mother's always this disciplinarian, so dads become the favorites. In a lot of households, dad was also a disciplinarian, but the mode in which dad disciplines is not harsh. We speak. and we speak to the mind and the heart and the soul. If you speak to a man in his language, if you speak to a man, he hears you. You speak to his head. But if you speak to a man in his language, you speak to his heart. And we have mastered that as men. Ngumi, I want to ask you a personal question, and I want to take you far, and I want to take you far in. In your days of struggle, has the thought of suicide ever come up?
No, I I think something that I learned from an early age was, you know, um, I grew up as a born again Christian, and and this is before life just opened a lot of things to me. And
Yes.
on that basis, there is a verse that I always read about, which is Hebrews 11 verse 1. It
All
speaks
right.
about faith, and it says it's the evidence of things unseen. It's very difficult to believe in that. It's very, very difficult to think that it's quite easy to. And I always remind myself to say, but hey, this verse has taken me through a lot of strides, a lot of hurdles, because I've
Yes.
always believed that there are better days ahead. I've always believed, even through my struggles, I've always believed that someday there will be a better day. And I normally tell people that no matter how it rains, the sun will shine.
Yes.
No matter how it rains, the sun will shine. And that's how I've grown up. It's difficult to actually believe in that. You must really, really, really pull yourself through to believe in that. It's not easy. Even now, when you go through financial challenges, you always believe that someday the sun is going to shine, and you must just believe.
Correct. I'd like to welcome Babu Mtombeni. Bongane, welcome. This is men's conference where we get real for Amadota, where we discuss our issues and we get to the core of issues. Welcome, welcome.
No, thank you
Bhuti
very
wami,
much.
100% kusekhaya lana mfethu. First question that I want to
Yes.
ask you, Babu Mtombeni, do you feel ukuthi the role? Firstly, let me ask this: Ubaba wayekhona when you were growing up? Was your dad around when you were growing up?
No.
100%. You're the perfect guy to ask. How did you learn to become the head of the household, the man of the house, and what guidance or what guided you to know Guti you are a man?
Hey, with me, it was very difficult, ne? But at the same time, it was fortunate because, uh, okay, endlini sikhulele in a family house, a old lady, there's your uncles you understand? Okay, my uncle married like
Mhm.
4 or 5 times, you understand? But he never got to be abe nedladla lakhe as such, you see.
Okay.
But then the thing of, I think I mostly observed, especially like when ngiza kabodladla kune timer, kune old lady, you see, you can see the structure, you understand, and you can see Guti, but the well-being of the child vis-a-vis from my side, whereas you understand some of the things I can ask this one, I can ask this one, you understand, it's always touchy. And the old lady is a huge disciplinary because she wants to play both roles at the same time. You understand? So, but then it's always been my aspiration to say, if I could have this, because I would say 50% of those people that had both parents, at least normally they didn't reach the heights of success in life, but the basic structure is their way. Vis-a-vis me, Ogunye, I take knowledge and experience wrong people in the streets, you understand, and then
Mm.
I am not giving a good, and akuna muntu who's taking me through the process. And that thing you have you ever seen umuntu makahleli manhleli ati name bra me timer and root and so I can't have such. I don't I can't relate. You understand? But now I can see with my kids. Like I'll tell you a story now. On Friday, not Friday, yes, last week Thursday, we went to a concert in school. The way I noticed we are so many in the crowd, like the way like my kid wanted to see Ubabaki in the crowd, the parents in the crowd. It was the moment as born, and you can see the time as born, like he was starting to feel sad, you understand? But the moment as born, he just blossomed, you see.
Yeah.
So uh, now you see, I'm it's a trial and error. I want to say in Kabateli, I don't have a manual, hence I'm here with gentlemen here so that you assist in building me. We build each other so that sibone ukuthi senza njani, so that we can have better families, so that we can have better communities and a better nation. Thank you.
No, we thank you, King. We thank you. We thank you more, yeah, for giving us this platform as well, because we're touching lives more than we think. I mean, I was at a clinic the other day, and a guy that actually watches Umo, yeah, stepped to me and he said to me, "I watched your interview about black women not needing us, and I had no clue who he was, because he was standing in a queue and he was staring at me and he was watching his phone and he's watching to see if this is the same guy or by a fan and just coincidental and I was there, I was there for a meeting, and I was like, "I dude." He's like, "Sorry, are you a celebrity?" I'm like, "No, no, I'm not." He's like, "No, man, I see you. I saw you somewhere." I'm like, "Not me." And he's like, "Is this not you?" I was like, "Yeah, it is." He's like, "Hey, Chief, I watched this 5, 6 times with my wife, and it is only by the grace of Usizinzigi that she gave us the platform and said, guys, touch other men." I have a question for you guys again. Is in this lifetime, in this generation that we're living in, we are in the 40s and 50s now, in age wise. What legacy are we leaving as the black men of this now generation? We are the guys that we were probably the first to go into the democratic world from the apartheid era. What legacy do we leave behind as a Amadot for the next generation of men?
Yeah, it's it sounds like an easy question, but it's actually not. I think you mentioned something very significant to say we are the first generation to actually, you know, father kids. And I think one of the things that we have learned is that we must take our children through things, teach them, discuss the significance of those things, the consequences of those things, how they should maneuver, how they should understand those things and better their lives. I think when we grew up, we used to be given Mukombandlela to say, don't do this, do that, without understanding what needs to be done. But I think what we are now starting to understand is that when you make your child to understand certain things, although there's a limit to that, but I'm saying we are a generation that takes our children through things. We are there for our kids. We're able to show them. We're able to teach them. So we have become better teachers than our fathers, because our fathers used to just tell us, "Don't do this, do that," without you actually understand them. And we would then go out and try a lot of things without understanding it, and
Yes.
would then have a lot of consequences that we need to deal with. But through us, while we are trying to teach our kids, I think they would then understand the consequences thereof and maybe plan better or understand better. I think that's how we are. That's the legacy I think we are going to leave to our kids. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. 100%. I love that. I love that. I'm going to give to you, Abu Tomben. What
Yes.
legacy do you feel you are leaving behind for the next generation of men that will follow you? And when we speak of Ubonganim Tombeni in the future, when we no longer are, what will the legacy of Bonganim Tombeni be that you would like?
Yeah, I think partly from Umasilela, I will take from that. But the legacy that we I want to try and leave, because now, especially when you indicated that we are the first democrat, I mean the first generation of experiencing democracy. And so uh, I want to leave them a legacy yokuba nobuntu and respect, because we have overindulged labantwana because of sithi sikhule sihlupheka, and the basics uh,
Mm.
they don't have the basics, because bona ba respect umuntu because of resources. He's driving this car, is having this house, but at the same time, we must also try. I want to try and leave them a legacy. Uguti, they must have the skill of fending for themselves. Because I read something which pained me the other day that says you will never leave your degree for your children. You see, so for me, the biggest legacy is humility, respect, and be able to fend for themselves skills wise. Thank you.
100%. And I think, Mina, what I would love us to leave the generation of the next man is the ability to question. You see, our biggest finding, or my biggest finding in this generation, is our quickness to accept. Kuthiwa kwenziwa ngale ndlela ngesintu, and we carry it forward without questioning why kwenziwa, so that I'm able to explain it forward. My biggest learning has been to question, to dig deeper, to understand further the root cause of isintu. Why do we practice this? I used to find ukuthi some of the superstitions were because of a time. Akugundwa ikhanda ebusuku was because there was no electricity at the time. But I would teach it forward as if it's a mystical thing. So the inability to research has left our generation following. And what I would love for the next generation of men is to research blackness, research their melanin, research their history, research their genitals, research their offspring, research. Now, the next question that I asked you guys is the hypersexuality within us black men. Do we understand where it's coming from? Let me put it ngesintu maybe. Ngibeke ngesintu. Our inability yokuhlala endaweni eyodwa. Sifune ukungenangena. Ke taste sopo ya kamo. Ke utlwe maotwana a kamo. Ke utlwe mogodu wa kamo. Ke utlwe letswainyana la kamo. That inability, are we aware as a majida? Ukuthi buyaphi? Uze nenye.
Yeah. No, we hear you. But I think the first thing is you see, when you are restricted too much, you tend to explore a lot when you are given freedom. And I think,
Okay.
like you mentioned, that the significance of a black man is that when he starts getting money or when he starts working for himself, he would want to explore a lot of things, whether it be material, whether it be women, the attention that is given to him. And sometimes that thing becomes a drag. And the second is that the other thing is that we are not taught to respect our families, the family that you have built. Um, when bana lo laya and Bonks, you know this thing. Bana lo laya, okure bale laya wana le musadi bare monna ke slave. What does that mean? Eh? Because automatically when you enter into a sacred space, which is a family, which has its own. And then Baba whole efforts about whatever no Monna slap. What do they mean? Because I mean they're opening that door, that window, so that you can go and explore. And that automatically undermines the value of your family. Wa tsena wa kokota because you slept or tsena ka o rema, and and the way they would do it, it seems like what it's permissible, what it's fine to do that as a man. So that's why I'm saying certain things that when you sit down and you look at them, it's because our forefathers and our parents did not do it correctly, and maybe then bona never know monna a sekisiwe. Goes back to the way banna ne ba beya mo di-pedestaleng tsele tsa gore monna a sekisiwe. In his movements, if he's the father of the house, whether he comes back at 2 in the evening, you don't question such things. And then sometimes that's why when you give someone too much freedom, they tend to abuse that thing. So, those are my two reasons to say, but hey, let's look at how we fundamentally build things. And secondly, after building it, how do we protect it? Because if you are trying to protect it and you are given a freedom to explore as well, there's a conflict there. Why? What? There's a serious conflict. So let's try and see how we can protect what we have with integrity.
Okay. Tabongs.
Thank you. Hey, Uzengenye. Yeah, I think it's Uzengenye, man. Hey, uh, me where I think yeah, it boils to the thing to say when they say by and lie, they are trying to guide you into this metronomy to say okay, Monna Keselepe, and then you can ask him this and that. If you look at where that stems from, remember back then it was only men mostly who were working. And obviously the one who has the financial powers, it means you cannot be questioning him left, right, and center. How does he will be more stuff? You understand? So
Ke
hence
moreki.
you need to exactly, you understand. So but on the other hand, I think maybe is this thing to say, like I think from us, maybe because of as Africans, is there's that thing of polygamy topic which now it's being pushed as an agenda, but on the other side, you are not being honored to say, but it's a choice. If you want to go this route, you can go. But if you don't want to go, it's still an honorable thing to have one person and build a family with just one person. You understand? But now, the agenda is shoved in the throat now to for say no. You as an African, you must just have maybe wives and not looking at the dynamics, you understand, because other people or most guys you think if ke palla ke o mo one o wa bobedi go bereka bjang bjano, but here they are shoving it in your throat, so you understand they are setting up for you for failure. And but at the same time that issue of too much freedom is a problem now. It's really a problem. So we need to uh change the perception to say if a person is having that one person, it's having a family, we must also honor that person. We must also, it must have integrity to say, but this person is taking care of his family, he's doing everything. This is an honorable person. Versa V to say, yeah, but it. No. Sure.
I hear you. I hear you very clearly. And I go back to my question and I ask it differently. Where does the behavior of multiple partnerism come from? Because when a woman does it, there's a name for it. It starts with a W and ends with a ho. But when a man does it, uyinkunzi, uyinkabi, monna ke selepe, warema. Where does this culture come from? Because even though it exists, kubalung, it's not so prevalent as us, or it's not so forefrontal as us. Tina, we see amadoda at amashisanyama weekend in, weekend out. Grown men bamekaba that should be home raising kids. Go D48 in Midrand, splurging, spending 45 thou on the drinks. When you ask for it's still a four-room house. It's still the old asbestos roof. There's no gate. Go in. And we only find this out when we go bury you. And we know you as the guy who drove Amachi Wagon. But we only find this out when we come bury you. Where is this behavior coming from? So the how the whole world lost happiness podcast in the car Uti, a lot of us men suffer in silence. When you try to share with your women, they say man up and other insensitive nonsense. So it's easy to suffer alone in silence like a warrior. Much easier. I fully agree. A lot of women are insensitive to the sensitivities of our daughter. When was the last time you guys, as men, said to your wife, Akisakon, I'm tired? When was the last time? Nkumi, I know for you this might not be relevant. You're a businessman. There are no days off for you. Even on your day off, you are working. But for you, Bongs, when was the last time you said, I am tired. I am taking leave to be alone, to sit on my own, and to actually rest?
Kavatili, uh, that is not going to be approved. Uh, no, that one is not going to be approved. It has never happened. Well, you do try to say, but when you take leave, your leave must be aligned with maybe Paramisi fence, or you are painting here, or maybe you are going on holiday or something. But for you to be alone and say you are tired, no, it doesn't work that way. It's highly impossible. It's and even now as a man, as a husband, it becomes difficult because now you start to see yourself as a failure when you say I'm I'm tired. But now at the same time it clicks when you look at your family, your children, you think, "Hey, but manje bazadlani manje if I hold back," you see. So hey, it's a difficult one. I think it needs a management of somehow. I'm not sure how, but it needs a management. Maybe sessions like this, where maybe like now we can say, okay, Kabateli, maybe take us maybe or on a weekend, let's go sit, let's unfold, let's unwind. Whilst we are gaining knowledge, we are also unwinding. You understand? As men, you get it. But now, if I just pack my bags now and say, no, let me go to Harte PS and go fish alone. Now I'm going to start with a court case here, and now it's something else. But if I can say, "Eh, now then it's something else. You see.
I think. Sorry. I think I had just a network problem there for a second, but I got the gist of what you were saying. So it would be an injustice for me to not to round up. Thank you so much. How the world lost happiness. The man who, or I'm assuming is a man. The podcast in the car. We see your comments. We love them. Thank you so much. Keep them coming. It would be an injustice for me not to explain this. Ne? So for me now, Bongs, I don't know, Baba Masilela, did you grow up with a father in the household?
Yeah, for sure. But I think he left when I was when I think I was 16, 17. He just found himself with a lot of freedom, and he actually wanted to explore. So he left when I was 17 and went
Okay,
to
cool.
explore. Yeah.
100%. 100%, and I'm going to explain it from that perspective. Is that there's something called certainty and uncertainty, and certainty and uncertainty is I am certain that on the 25th of the month I will receive money. You are certain that when that invoice that you've sent out on a certain date will pay. You are certain. There's uncertainty, which is I don't know if I wake up tomorrow and I go to that site and I speak to the people who have this, project going, if they will permit me to be able to join and subcontract under there. There's that uncertainty. Cool. And I would take it to a romantic relationship is there's a certainty within this relationship that my wife will come home, she will cook us a meal, we will do dishes together, and then we'll go into the bedroom, we will read a book together, and then we will discuss the day and we'll break it down, and then we'll say our prayer and we'll go to sleep. There's that certainty of familyhood. Then there's the uncertainty of the other girlfriend or the girlfriend who's out there who could call at any time, who could mess this routine up at any given time. But because of the uncertainty that you are so used to, yasekhaya, of ubaba doing all these things, that has become so normal to you. When he left at 17, you had to find your feet, quickly become Nkume, the man, and stabilize the household because your mom couldn't be the man. She tried to be, but you saw for it here I had to hustle. And till today, you are still doing that. You are still providing and hustling and creating that wealth barrier, not only for yourself, but for your family and family yakuhai, the family you've created and the family you come from. Just as you have Mtombeni, is you've created this cushion of certainty. But the uncertainty was that Ubaba was never there. So in your dating relationships, I want you to go backwards. Did you, when it became too peaceful, then not have eyes outside? And when you still do so it's wrong, man. Like our bora ticket. Ushapu ya namara ishwa bora man ish angena man. Was that not the case for you, gentlemen?
So to me it was. Yeah.
I,
To me it
I
was.
can start first.
Say again. Ngume
I can
says it
start first.
was. Okay.
He
Okay,
says,
Babu Tombe. Yeah, well,
okay,
Nkume says, yeah, no, that was the case for him, is that he would get bored. But like, she's too good, man. Wabora, man.
okay. Manjebin is quite the opposite because I've been always wanting this family structure. Ne? I always targeted those ones. Start that. I was telling the other person that the person could have a lot of flaws, but if the first thing that I would check is that can this person really cook? Wapampa lab, all the others fish.
100%. Welcome to our sister Shira. Welcome home. Welcome back. Welcome home.
Hello, everyone. Thank you
So,
for having me.
that Wabona, it works, and it's exactly as I'm saying to you guys. I was in Kume as well. The uncertainty always drew me back. It always said to me, "Come back more." It's too comfortable. It's too quiet. It's too stable. It's too abnormal. It tries to and you end up with women that are not on your league and are not on your mental league. They're not on your physical league. They're not on your spiritual league. They must be rao rao. The uncertainty in you requires that until there's something that you do that turns your brain and goes, I need certainty. I need to be certain, certain things. So that mindset that Mtombeni has, can she cook? Can she clean? Can she cater to me? Will she take? She will be able to take care of me, and the certainty of that is actually what then brings you back to ground and says, "This is the direction we're going." So,
You know, but wait, let me ask something. You know, I used to have that thing to say when a woman cooks, when she can iron and do it, she's a perfect woman. And one brother of mine said, Imran, do you think there is a perfect woman? And I said, yeah, there is a perfect woman. He said, no. If you want someone perfect, you must design them on your own. You must create them. And I've learned that to say, someone can cook, someone can iron, motsetse almost straight, ola, ube sharp, 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 the bongs, ube sharp, guru. Mar, in terms of solving problems, wa golo moto, shem, I saba moto, ben. Ele solve matata. Gone, kore,
but
o cancel
Emma,
the kore. Bona, aliko no solve butata. Ele solve butata ki guru guru. Ki guru guru. Kore, that's what I'm saying. For me, wa bona if re bolela ka dilo tse bjao, I become a problem. I have a problem because issue is I've learned that there's no one perfect. There's no partner who is perfect. And in some instances, we have our flaws, and there's somewhere we were weak. But I think one thing that I've learned, good one day, is tolerance, and it's not something that comes easily. Sometimes you have to pray about it. Sometimes you have to read books about it, and learn that just as much as you want people to tolerate you, you must be able to tolerate them and build out of that. Obviously, there's a certain limit towards that, obviously. But I'm saying your tolerance level must be up so that you are able to understand. Because if you just concentrate on the good side of the day this person makes a mistake, it's going to spoil everything. You won't even go back and say, hey, this person is human. You want to say, can't do corner so, yo, I'm disappointed. Why so I'm saying let's find a way of having higher nyana tolerance man. Guru I nyagahale, but sometimes it thing. Then hale thing we are got maturity level or not if it is a guy lebu sabian. And but you can only do that once you have a tolerance level. Marhelori luena or solve a guru, then you have a problem.
thank you so much. I hear you. Sire, welcome. Majida talking about infidelity and what actually brings it about in us as Banna, and what could be the root cause problem. Re tshwenyaki eng ka maruku a? Why asa kgone go nna mo nokeng a theosa ke eng? What do you have to say, Sire? Come in there.
Good evening, everyone. I think for me, it's what I've learned over the years is expectation is the greatest disappointment. There's preconceived ideas of a fairy tale person is preconceived, like we get it from somewhere, our childhood, or whatever you were watching. Even like Snow White gave you ideas, right? And then there's you who has made the choice. Now you have chosen Bongani, you have chosen Gume, you've chosen Wandile, whoever you have chosen, you are with that person right now. And you still have the responsibility to vet and check if that person has the capacity to love in the way you understand what love is and how it looks like. You can only see that kind of love if you know how it looks like for you. So, are you living that type of love? Are you giving it to yourself? What are you doing with your values? The things that you expect from your woman, are you upholding them or you only feel them from her? Okay, the person you are likely to be with, we know this, all science tells us that opposites attract. You will attract strengths that are opposite to your strengths, and they can be challenging. You will attract opposite weaknesses to yours. And if you're going to shame them and not see as areas of growth or see your strength as a mirror of the person's weakness or whatever the growth looks like as in your adult choices, you can leave and go and try and learn the same lesson with another human being Or you can say, well, my choice was correct. I don't have an issue with selection. In fact, I select right. I just have to grow. I have to transition the areas of development that I have not grown in. There is no problem. I am just not well developed here. The things that I know or that I used to do or that I've been applying are not serving me anymore for some reason or another. What is causing that? If you can answer that for yourself first, before you go looking for it in your spouse, you can then, as a man and the head of the household, lead a conversation strategically to say, because we are emotional, right? We will want to spend the money, but at the end of the day, we also believe in growth. No matter how much emotional we can get and we want to spend, it is a fact that if I'm your woman and I cannot understand that it is a law of compensation, that if I'm spending and I'm not earning and I'm well compensated, I'm always compensated. Whatever I choose to do with my money, the law of compensation says all my debts are already paid for. I'm well compensated for. So that now tells me that whatever my situation with my finance is, whatever my situation with whatever experience I'm having, I'm being well compensated for and I'm not being owed. So, what is my choice giving me? And the person you are with is an exact mirror of the right choices, as we call them, or the choices that are serving you and supporting you and helping you grow, the choices that are helping you to feel loved, supported, and safe. Or are feeling unsafe with your choices? What is causing that? You yourself must be able to answer it. Because if you know what is you think it's causing it, we're not going to make it about the person. You can now say, okay, let's come with a spreadsheet. I remember one time one of my best friends, like from a long time ago, I was having a conversation with her husband, and and he was saying that your friend is like detailed and she's like a technical person. So you have women who like are in masculine fields like myself, who have the masculine aspects very well developed, and it's not a form of disrespect. Work has developed that space for us. So if you're having a person like that, you males are the ones who love practical application. So why are you not having a spreadsheet? As brown people, we have a challenge of not putting applicable things and converting what we know into a practical experience and being an Einstein in our own life and testing what works for us, because now we have evidence of what doesn't work. When you have evidence of what doesn't work, it means that what works is there. It's either you are in the alignment and the frequency to see it, or you are focusing too much on your problems, and they're not going to change. So sometimes the adjustment is looking at what now? What can I do? And if you don't have information, thank God for platforms like this, Umoya, and other podcasts and YouTube channels and whatnot. Google the topic that you're struggling with. How do I have a conversation with my spouse about money? And see what other teachers you can have from this globe to expand your resources. Application, Mutumonto. Apply the knowledge. That's what wisdom is.
Thank you so much, Shire. Thank you so much, Babu. Babu Mtombeni, your closing words as we part. Your last closing words as we say goodbye and good night to everyone this evening. And thank you so much for everyone who's tuned in, wherever they've tuned in from. Thank you so much from the podcast Esemotweni. We appreciate your comments and love them, and we've been reading them. And you will get an invite next time to come on board. In your closing, Babu Mtombeni, what would you say?
No, just to thank everyone who has attended, and these sessions are really important. They help us grow, they help us develop, and again, it brings the dignity back to Black men, especially, and so that we can be able to build and have great families and have a great nation. Because before you can have a nation, you must start to have a family. Thank you.
Mm, 100%. Thank you so much, Babu Mtombeni. Babu Masilela,
Beautiful.
when we want to put in your closing, how do you close tonight off?
Men need help. And I'm saying this because, you know, I once wrote to someone when I heard of men discussions, and I said, you know, the amount of pressure that men are in and the endless demands that women always put us in will one day drive us crazy. And we need platforms where we can be able to express ourselves without limitations, get advices, be able to understand that even when the world says you are not enough, you are enough. Even when the world says you are weak, you are strong. And always remember that you are a hero to your kids. That is important, that you are a hero to your kids. So, yes, indeed, we need help. Men need help. And I think that is important for us.
Siyabonga kakhulu. Nkume uvala ngokuthi we need help as men, and thank you that we need the help and that the help is always there for us. And I'm gonna ask Usisi Tsirelejo to be able to close us off, send us off in a little with a closing and a meditation, and just send us off into the good night and set us on a productive, powerful week. If your network yaki yamvuma. But my closing, in short, is each one teach one, and that one that we never describe is one boy. Each one being one man, teach one being one boy. Your son or not, teach those boys. The boys where I live now, uh, they now call me sir because I've taught them that I'm not your friend. You will not say to me, "Hi, I'm hi sir, hi uncle." If need be, hi dad. If you don't know or those do not fit, hi Mr. Dladla. But hi will not work with me, young man. I'm not your friend. Babu wako can say to me hi, not when. And if each one teaches one, we will have better men. Kusasa kule generation elandelayo. I'd like us to close our eyes. Where you are, just close your eyes gently. Now, ubukile ekhaya, man or woman, this one is for you. Close your eyes and just in your after traffic, after kids, after sad news, I want you to go into a peaceful place within yourself where there's peace and quiet, where your thoughts are not raging, your heart is not pounding, your debts are not chasing, your phone is not ringing, your wife is not calling, your kids are not crying, the dishes are not breaking, the groceries are not running out, and the debts are not piling up. And in that space, I want you to see yourself sitting namakosi wageni, your grandfather, your great grandfathers, your uncles who are no longer with us, your fathers, your brothers, your friends. And in that circle of manhood, I want you to go sit in the center of it. See yourself sitting in a chair in the center. And if it is a job you are seeking, if it's a relationship, umdeni, if it's children that you are seeking, if it's income that you are looking for, if it's business, I want you to see all of your people come towards you and all of your friends come towards you and all of your of connection. Into zakhe zingahlangani seziyahlangana zihlanganisa ile zandla ezihlala phezu kwakho, and as your people unite to touch you, may the unity that has just touched you touch the world. May it touch your finances. May it touch your marriage. May it touch your sexuality. May it touch your humanity. Indlala and lack that you feel may it be touched. And that the energy that you are now feeling, that it may go from the inside outward. That you may now become a beacon of light wherever you walk. That today you may start to see yourself as a beacon of light, that a ship that is coming from a mile away sees your light. A ship of opportunity that sees your light from a distance is drawn to you. That a relationship that sees your light comes towards you. That a relationship with the finances comes towards you. With that relationship with that job, that it may come to you as you are the beacon of light. And as you sit there and you feel this power and this energy, it may do a 360 for you. When you are ready, you are more than welcome to open your eyes. Go forth, go be great, have a powerful week. We thank you. Umoya uright, umoya ubright, umoya ukhona lana, umoya wasekhaya, umoya wamandulo. Have a brilliant week. We thank you. We bless you. You guys are kings. Blessings, kings. Good evening.